I remember one day my dad tried to give me a haircut, but I was in the middle of like a flare up. I tried to run, and my dad is a saint. He grabbed me quickly, and I felt like a serious amount of strength on me because my dad is super chill, never gets angry. There's no reason to put his hands on anybody, no reason to go full strength or anything like that. No, my dad grabbed me, and in that moment I was like, shit. I was like, I gotta explain now. So I told him, I said, look, I might have skin cancer. And they were like, what? So we went to the doctor. We went to all these different doctors. They were like, there's nothing wrong with you. Have you ever heard of fibromyalgia?
Yeah.
Back then, fibromyalgia wasn't widely accepted with doctors.
Yeah.
Now it is today. I don't have fibromyalgia because fibromyalgia includes muscle aches. So because I'm missing that symptom, they didn't diagnose me with that. But they diagnosed me with cholinergic urticaria or peripheral nervosa, which is basically it's burning sensation like a stabbing needle.
I know someone with MS that experiences something like that. It's like constant pain.
Yeah.
And
it's incredibly hard to live with.
Now I don't know, and this is actually my mother. Now I don't know what kind of prescriptions she gets to help her with this. I mean, because she lives in another state and she just kind of deals with it, herself, between her and her doctor. But one time I got her some CBD oil lotion.
Yes, I've heard that and really works.
Yeah, it worked miracles on her, man. So I told her, like, go ahead.
I've heard about that
because in the state where I'm from, which is where she lives, I think you can get it just in like certain amount of quantities.
Yeah,
it's Ohio. I don't know if it's legal down here in Florida, but I know
I'm pretty sure. I just haven't looked into it because now in today's age, you'll get to
it's just the lotion, and
you'll get to why it's gonna get crazy. But people have told me the story is inspirational, so you'll see towards the end of it. But so I was always just afraid of socializing, so I had a bit of a shell. I remember I went to college. There was a kid, I would say funny things, and he was just amazed at the things that would come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And so he would just love to talk and interact. And then towards the end of that semester, I remember I was really struggling just to show up to class. And if I didn't want to talk to anybody, I wanted to sit in the back because I was in so much pain every day. It was killing me, and I was trying not to let anybody know. Do you know how hard it is to sit there in a desk and listen to a teacher while it feels like lava is just being injected into your veins? I remember I walked out of the class with a water bottle to just kind of do something, just to douse that heat. And I couldn't even keep my hand still for the stream of water to go into the water bottle. And so I remember the doctor was eventually like, why don't you see a psychologist or something like that? I was like, I'm not crazy. So one day, I had a flare up. My parents rushed me to the ER.
Yeah.
And by the time I would get there, the flare-ups would be gone. They only last like 15 minutes. And so your body just kind of numbs it. It just numbs it. And it goes away.
The trauma response.
Yeah. It's fine. So every time I would get to the ER, they'd be like, you look fine to me. So my dad was like, I got to do it. I got to do it. So he purposely like irritated me and purposely started like pushing me, shoving me, getting anything to spark my veins turning red and spark that reaction so that someone could see it. And we took pictures, and we finally got acknowledged by a doctor. He Googled it, found all the symptoms, found similar pictures, and he was like, yeah, this is cholinergic urticaria, basically. And so that links back to, in my personal theory, the Fight Club that I was in.
Okay.
I may have always had this issue. I don't know if I was born with it or whatever. I know that I used to like wrestle with my little brother, and we would wrestle, and when things got heated, I would feel something weird, and it was stabby, and I would have to take a cold shower, and I would leave. But it was never like a life issue until, you know what Shark Tanking is?
The TV show?
Shark Tanking in like a martial arts community. So Shark Tanking it's silly, but there's one person, and then there's a ring, and then there's a line. Okay. And that one person fights each person in that line until you lose. And then the person who wins becomes the leader of the line and then fights the line. So I went through 4 fights in one day. And the very first fight, I got uppercut. and it's on video. We have video and everything. I got uppercut, didn't realize, because he's incredibly athletic dude. We would play manhunt, and this dude would be up on like power poles.
Yeah.
As kids, he would just climb anything that you could see in the area. He would climb it to the top. So he was small and nimble, but he was quick. And as he was bobbing and weaving through any strike you threw out, he was going to counter. So I got uppercut, didn't realize it, had him in a submission, and I realized that my blood was all over his back. And I kind of let go a little bit, and he spun around and he gave me a hook. And we called that fight off. We went another round, and I proceeded through the next fights. To keep long story short, by the fourth fight, I got uppercut again, and I started bleeding again. And this guy, we're kids, remember? He goes,
yeah, of course.
He goes, I'm trained to be an EMT, man. Dunk your head in the pool. So I did. It was a terrible fucking idea. And so I had all this blood coming out of my nose, dunked my head in the pool, and rose up. And that like suction from the water, just pulled out this long line of dry blood. It looked like clay, like a dark crimson clay. I guess it was like cartilage or whatever. We don't have cartilage in our nose, but some kind of skin lining that obviously keeps our brains or whatever from falling out.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing it. It was like this long, and then the color in the trees was kind of graying a little bit, and I was like, oh shit! So my mom's gonna fucking kill me. And I never told my mom that story, so I can't let her watch this video. But they were like, yo, you need to go to 911. You need to call ER. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, don't call nobody. Color eventually started coming back to me. I think I was going into maybe like a little bit of a shock.
Yeah.
But I ended up ripping that long, disgusting piece of flesh. And when I did, have you ever pulled a nerve before or heard of anyone pulling a nerve before?
Yeah.
You shit, piss, and vomit all at the same time. So I got real warm. And so I think I did something. And so I went to the bathroom and I cleaned up. And we left all that blood on that property, by the way. That wasn't even our property. That was an abandoned property in the neighborhood. Crazy story is that it ended up being a judge's. And like for the next 2 weeks, I was terrified that somebody was going to find out whose blood that was. I don't know how much we left there. We got out of there soon because I was bleeding everywhere. It was an emergency. We left.
Yeah.
We stopped fighting there, obviously, but my blood was everywhere. And I remember a judge had approached them in the neighborhood. He was like, you know what's going on? And this is my house. And my friends were like, nah, I don't know nothing. I was 2 weeks. I was like, they're going to do a DNA test or something. They're going to trace it back to me. Then nobody ever contacted me. I don't know how much blood I left there, but it was there. Somebody saw it, and how the owner of that house ended up being a judge.
So
which was